So in this lecture, we'll talk about how the embryo starts folding. Okay. Yeah, Tari. Yes, tell me.
Yes, sorry to interrupt, Doctor, but regarding the villi,
Sorry. Okay.
is the chorionic villi the same as the primary one, or the two separate things?
Pardon? What did you say?
Regarding the villi,
Yeah.
is the chorionic villi the same
Yeah.
as the primary villi, or they are two separate things?
They are tertiary villi. Primary villi are during the development. Okay, in the early stages of development when they are still not functional. So they are primary villi, then they modify themselves into secondary, then the tertiary villi. Tertiary villi are the most developed one.
Okay,
Okay,
okay, thank you.
okay.
What about the
And
chorionic
these
one then?
tertiary villi now starts functioning as the anchoring as well as the free floating villi. Okay.
Okay, what about the chorionic villi then?
Chorionic
What is
villi?
it?
Yeah, chorionic
Yes.
villi are the villi. These are the villi, chorionic villi.
Okay, okay, okay.
Okay,
I understand
chorionic
now.
villi
Thank you.
and villi are same. Okay,
Okay,
they
okay,
have
I
special
understand.
name
Thank
called
you.
as chorionic because they are coming from the chorionic plate and attached to the decidual plate. So they have special name. Sometimes we call it as just villi, or you can call it as chorionic villi.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
No, thanks.
Doctor,
Yeah,
I ask, what are the two layers disappear in the fourth month?
yeah. For after the fourth month, there will be only the two layers. One is the outer layer, that is the syncytiotrophoblasts, and the innermost layer, that is the endothelium of the blood vessels. The
Okay,
remaining
thank you.
two, the second and the third layer will disappear. That is the cytotrophoblast as well as the connective tissue. Okay.
Doctor, can you repeat the answer, please?
Okay. I said there are four layers, right? First, second, third, and fourth. First and fourth will remain. That is the syncytiotrophoblasts as well as the last layer, that is the endothelium of the fetal blood vessels, will remain. The two layers which will disappear will be the cytotrophoblast as well as the connective tissue. Okay.
Okay,
Extra
thank
embryo and
you.
mesoderm, which is called a connective tissue or extra embryo and mesoderm. Okay. Anything else?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Doctor, can you repeat? I couldn't hear you well. Sorry.
Okay. Let me once again put the microphone like this. Okay, I said there are four layers. Okay, so the first and the fourth layer will remain. That is the outer layer, that is the syncytiotrophoblasts, and the innermost layer, that is the endothelium layer, will remain. Endothelium of the fetal blood vessels. The two layers which will disappear after the fourth month will be the cytotrophoblast as well as the connective tissue or the extraembryonic mesoderm. That two layers will disappear. Connective tissue and extraembryonic mesoderm are the same. Okay, so that will, as well as the cytotrophoblast, will disappear. Okay. Okay, we'll start with the next lecture. That is the folding of the embryo. This is a shorter lecture, so inshallah we'll try to finish a little faster. Okay. So if you know this embryo, initially we have studied this embryo is as a disc, right? So it was two-layer disc. So remember, in the second week it will be the second two layers. In the third week it will be three layers. Three layers is called as gastrulation. That was a question which was there in the for the test. Okay. So in the second layer, in the first week it will be one layer. So that is it is not even layer. It is group of cells. In the second week it becomes bilaminar disc. In the third week, it will becomes trilaminar. That is called as the gastrulation. Okay. So 1 week, one layer, 2 weeks, two layer, and third week will be three layers. Okay. That is how you can remember. Okay. Coming back to the folding of the embryo. This is the embryo here. So this is the embryo. It will start folding itself slowly now. Okay. it is bilaminar. Now it will become trilaminar. Then as the embryo starts growing, it is still in the form of a disc. Now it starts folding itself, okay, on either side. So this is called as the folding of the embryo. So the flat trilaminar disc, now it is 3 layers. Okay, when it starts folding, it will be 3 layers. Folds into a somewhat cylindrical embryo. Now it becomes till now it was a flat plate. Now it starts becoming cylindrical, rounded. Folding occurs in both the median as well as the horizontal plane. I will show you. So if you see, okay, so if you see here, this is the same picture shown here. Okay, so it is 3-layer disc. Now it starts folding in the median plane. This is the same section. If you see from above, if you take a picture from above, this is how it looks like. This is the embryo growing. Okay, and here are the somites on either side. So if you take a midline section, this is what you see. Okay, so it starts folding on either side. If you see, this is called as the head fold, and this is called as the tail end, which folds into tail fold. So it starts folding itself. Okay, similarly, if you see, this is the same picture shown here. Okay, but from the side view. So if you see, the embryo starts folding. This is the head end and the tail end. Now it starts folding itself. Okay, now if you take a section at this level and see, this is the picture shown from the sides. So either side it starts folding. So on either side it starts. Now it is becoming cylindrical. So there are different views to understand. So this picture is what you see here. Bilaminar becomes trilaminar. So here the trilaminar, and you can see starts folding, head end and the tail end. Okay, so this view is when you see it from above, this is how it looks like. So if you take a section at this level and see from side, this is how it looks like, the head end and the tail end. It starts folding. Okay, if you take a cross section and see from this behind, this is how the side end starts folding. Okay, so you have to slightly start imagining the things, how they are taking place. Okay, but we'll stick on to this picture. Okay, so in the same we will start going through. Okay, so this is the trilaminar disc. Now it starts folding both in the median as well as the horizontal plane. Median means this plane, and the horizontal is this plane, which we have seen here, and the median plane just we see here. Okay, and results from the rapid growth of the embryo. Now the embryo, which is the still disc form, now because of the rapid growth of this fetus or the embryo, this growth will be taking place and this folding will be taking place. Long axis increases rapidly than the sides. Okay, the long axis, this is the long axis which you are seeing, will rapidly increase than the sides. So this long axis will start increasing more rapidly than the sides. So this is the sides on either side. This is a picture shown from there. So this is the long axis and this is the side axis. Okay, so the long axis increases rapidly than the sides, occurs simultaneously on both the axes, but the long axis will be faster. Constriction at the junctions of the embryo and the yolk sac. Now if you see, this is the amniotic sac and the yolk sac. Now if you see in the further stages, this yolk sac becomes smaller and smaller, and this amniotic cavity increases in size. If you see here, this picture, amniotic cavity, imagine here, and the yolk sac, see the yolk sac, it starts growing smaller and smaller. So as the embryo starts folding on either side, this yolk sac becomes smaller and smaller. And the amniotic cavity, which was small, now it starts surrounding the whole of the embryo. If you see here, it is coming on all the sides, and by this time, it is completely covered by the amniotic cavity. So the amniotic cavity, which was very small quantity, it becomes bigger, and the yolk sac, which was big, now it starts growing smaller and smaller in case of the human beings. Okay. And now folding in the median plane. We'll go step by step of how the foldings will take place. So it occurs in both the cranial, that is the head end, and the caudal. Caudal means tail end towards the limbs. Okay, cranial end towards the head and caudal towards the lower limbs, causing head and tail folds. So this folding will lead to two folds, head and tail fold, moving ventrally as the embryo elongates cranially and caudally. If you see here, now we'll start studying this same picture. Now we'll first study this part, that is the head end. Then we'll study about the tail end. What are the changes taking place at this level? Okay. So if you see, this is the head end. So the same picture as I said, this is the part. Now we are studying it in more detail. Okay, so this is the same end. So the head end, or now it starts folding. So this is called as the head fold. How it starts folding towards the head, that is the head fold. So it begins at the fourth week. Now we have moved from the third week onwards to the fourth week. Now we'll move very fast. Okay, so by the fourth week, the neural folds in the cranial region thicken to form the primordium of the brain. So now if you see here, this is the notochord here. Above we have said notochord is the main structure which will help in the development of the neural tube. Neural tube will form the brain and the spinal cord. If you see here near the brain and the top part, now it is developing more. It starts forming into brain, and the lower part will remain narrow, and it forms the future spinal cord. Okay. So the neural fold in the cranial region thicken to form the primordium of the brain. This starts forming the brain. This is the neural fold. Initially, the developing brain projects dorsally into the amniotic cavity. Initially, if you see here, amniotic cavity is above, as we know. Here is the yolk sac, and above is the amniotic cavity. Now this brain initially starts projecting into the amniotic cavity. Later grows cranially beyond the oropharyngeal membrane. If you see here on the top, we had seen buccopharyngeal membrane. Okay, the oropharyngeal membrane, buccopharyngeal membrane or the oropharyngeal membrane. This will form the future mouth. So it is above the brain. Now with the growing brain, now the buccopharyngeal membrane starts coming below, or the oropharyngeal membrane will start coming below. Okay, so initially it was above the head, mouth was above the head. Now with the developing brain, it will push the oropharyngeal membrane down. Overhangs the developing heart. See the heart. Where is the heart? This is the heart here. This is called as the primordial heart. So it is above the mouth or the oropharyngeal membrane. Now it starts pushed downwards. Now it is going down. So now it has moved here. Primordial heart. Then also you can see the septum transversum, primordial heart, primordial coelom, the oropharyngeal membrane move on to the ventral aspect, ventral side. Ventral means in the front, anterior. Dorsal means behind. Okay. So now if you see here, this is the primordium of the heart, and this is the primordium of the heart, and this is called as the primordial coelom, which will form the pericardium later. We'll study about this, all these things later. So this is the primordium of the heart, this is the heart, and this is the covering of the heart. Okay, which is called as the primordial coelom. Then below that is the septum transversum, which will form the diaphragm. All these are actually above the brain. Now they are all pushed downwards, with the growing of the embryo, the trilaminar disc, and the brain. So all the structures are pushed below because there is no space there. So as the brain starts growing, so all the structures are moved down. So the septum transversum, this is the septum transversum. Then the primordium of the heart, the primordial coelom, that is the covering of the heart, the oropharyngeal membrane. This all move onto the ventral surface, means anterior in the front. Okay, so they were above the head, now they are moving downwards. The endoderm of the yolk sac is incorporated into the embryo as the foregut. If you see here, here is the yolk sac. Now the yolk sac becomes smaller and smaller. As I said, as the embryo starts growing, so it has been pushed to become a very small part, and a part of this yolk sac will be incorporated inside, and this forms the foregut. If you see here, going back to this picture, if you see here, yolk sac is here in yellow color. Now as the embryo starts folding, you see here, a part of this yolk sac has incorporated here to form the foregut. Okay, the oropharyngeal membrane separate the foregut from the stomatium. So the oropharyngeal membrane here separate the foregut. This is the foregut from the stomatium. Stomatium is actually the oral cavity. Okay, between the mouth and the foregut, this membrane is the oropharyngeal membrane, which will rupture later. Okay, So initially this is called as this stomatium. Stomatium is not here. By this bending, now there is formation of a stomatium, which will form the future mouth. Okay, and the foregut is the initial part of the gut, that is the esophagus and other structures which are formed, pharynx and other things. And in between there is a membrane. This is the oropharyngeal membrane, which we are seeing till now. Now this oropharyngeal membrane will separate the stomatium, the future mouth, from the future foregut. Okay. The septum tarsosum lies caudal to the heart after folding and develops into central tendon of the diaphragm. As I said, this septum will go below. This is septum tarsosum will go below the heart now here, and then it forms the diaphragm. The main muscle which will separate the thoracic cavity from the abdomen. Okay, and a very important muscle of the respiration. So this is called as the diaphragm. As well as the liver is also formed from the septum tarsosum. The head fold also affects the arrangement of the primordium of the body cavities, which consist of the flattened horseshoe-shaped cavity before folding. So it will also change the position of these cavities. These are called as the primordial cavity, then the pleural cavity, and the peritoneum. All those cavities are changing position. If you see here, it has come in the front, primordial, pericardial coelom. Okay, in front of the primordial heart. Okay, so it also changes the position of the cavities. Now going to the tail end. So this is the tail end. So this was still here we are studying here near the head end. Now we are talking about the tail end. So going back to the same picture again, if you see here, this is the tail end, this part. Now we are studying the changes taking place in the tail end. Okay. So the tail end results primarily from the growth of the distal part of the neural tube. If you see on the top here, this is the neural tube, which I said will form the future spinal cord. Here is the future spinal cord. This is the notochord, and here is the primitive streak. Okay, yesterday the question was primitive streak will give rise to the, it is not the ectoderm or the endoderm, it is the mesoderm. It is the mesoderm. Okay. And the primitive streak is from the ectoderm. So finally, the epiblast cells. So epiblast will give rise to all cells. Okay. So, but if you just study the primitive streak, it will be the mesoderm, which will be derived from here. Okay. Okay. So this is the primitive streak here, and this is the neural tube. This is the neural tube here. Okay. So results primarily from the growth of the distal part of the neural tube. This is the neural tube which is growing. If you see here, it has grown much more, and this leads to bending of the folding of the embryo. Okay. This primordium, this spinal, this is the primordium of the spinal cord. As I said, this neural tube. As the embryo grows, the caudal eminence projects over the cloacal membrane. Now, if you see here below, we had another membrane. Okay, that is called as the cloacal membrane. Now the cloacal membrane was below the primitive streak, if you remember. Now it is pushed upwards. Now the cloacal membrane has moved here. With this growth of the spinal cord, the cloacal membrane has moved up. Okay. So as the embryo grows, the caudal eminence projects over the cloacal membrane. So the caudal process will go below, and the cloacal membrane will move up, or anteriorly or ventrally. During folding, part of the endoderm is incorporated into the embryo as the hindgut. Similarly, just like in case of the head end, similarly the yolk sac also incorporate in the tail end, and it forms the hindgut. If you see here again, going back to the picture. So if you see here, so this is the yolk sac. As the tail end folds, so a part of the yolk sac goes here, and it forms the hindgut. This is the hindgut. So the terminal part of the hindgut soon dilates to form the cloaca. So this hindgut part of the yolk sac now start dilating, and it forms the cloaca. And cloaca is the primordium of the urinary bladder and the rectum. And from this part will be the development of both the urinary bladder as well as the rectum, as well as a part of the anal canal. Anal canal actually develops from the ectoderm. Okay. So this is a very important part which will help in the development of both the urinary bladder as well as the rectum. Before folding, the primitive streak lies cranial to the cloacal membrane. Before folding, if you see here, the primitive streak lies cranial, means toward the head end of the cloacal membrane. Now with the enlargement of this, the neural tube, now if you see, after folding it lies caudal to it. Now the cloacal membrane has moved up and primitive streak is below. So below, before the primitive streak was above and the cloacal membrane was below. Now with this folding, the cloacal membrane has moved up and the primitive streak has come down. Okay. After tail folding, the connecting stalk primordium of the umbilical cord is attached to the ventral surface of the embryo. Initially, if you see here, this is the connecting stalk, which will form the umbilical cord. Now if you see here, with the folding of this embryo, this umbilical cord or the connecting stalk has moved in the front. Okay, so now it has moved. Actually, it was near the tail end. Now it has moved towards the front. That is called as the ventral surface. Now, if you see here, you can also see the allantois. When I was talking about the contents of the umbilical cord yesterday, I said one of the content of the umbilical cord is allantois. So here you can see this is the allantois. This is the allantois, which is one of the content of the umbilical cord. So the connecting stalk is the primordium of the umbilical cord. Now with the development, the connecting stalk has become the umbilical cord here, and you can see the allantois. Allantois, a diverticulum of the yolk sac, is partially incorporated into the embryo. So this allantois is also a part of the yolk sac. So whole part is yolk sac here. So a part has incorporated into the umbilical cord to form the allantois. The part of the yolk sac which has gone here, this will form the hindgut and the cloaca, and cloaca is primordium for the bladder as well as the rectum. Now the folding in the horizontal planes on the sides. Folding on sides of the embryo produces right and left lateral folds, as we saw. If we go back to this picture, on the sides, if you see here, so it is producing the right and left lateral folds. Now they start moving inwards. Okay, so that is called as the folding in the horizontal plane. Folding on the sides of the embryo produces right and left lateral folds. It is produced by rapid growing spinal cord and somites. Somites I showed you. Again, let me show you. These are the somites here, and we have studied the somites. They are the triangular shaped structures. Okay, so with the development, here are the somites. Now they divide into three parts and they form all the different parts, and this help in the development of the lateral folds. Okay, horizontal fold. It is produced by rapid growing spinal cord and somites. Ventrolaterally, rolling of the edges of the embryonic disc form the roughly cylindrical embryo. As you can see in this, again, going back to this picture. So it has initially it was just a plate. Now it has become cylindrical, almost cylindrical shape because of the folding on the sides. Okay, as the abdominal walls forms, part of the endoderm is incorporated into the embryo as the midgut. So as you see here, this is the yolk sac with the folding of the head end and the tail end. As we have seen, it becomes smaller and smaller, and a part which becomes, if you see here, it has become very small, and the part which has gone, the part of the yolk sac gone in between the head end, that has become the foregut, and the part which has gone incorporated into the tail end has become the hindgut, and this middle part will form the midgut. So this is the whole of the gastrointestinal tract, GIT, starting from the esophagus up to the rectum. Okay, so this is the whole gut. So it is divided into foregut, midgut, and the hindgut. So this whole thing is coming from the yolk sac. So initially there is a wider connection between the midgut and the yolk sac. So initially, if you see here, there is a wide connection between the yolk sac and the midgut. Now it becomes smaller and smaller, connection between the yolk sac and the midgut. After folding, the connection is reduced to yolk stalk. So now it is called as the yolk stalk. This connection between the yolk sac and the midgut, now it is becoming reduced. This is called as the yolk stalk. The umbilical cord forms from the connecting stalk. Now if you see here, this is the umbilical cord, which is coming from the connecting stalk. Connecting stalk was here. Now with the folding, it has come in the front and it formed the umbilical cord. As it formed, the ventral fusion of the lateral folds reduce the region of the communication between the intraembryonic and the extraembryonic coelomic cavities to a narrow communication. Now the communication becomes very narrow, and the amniotic cavity expands and obliterates the extra-embryonic coelom. So with the excessive folding, the amniotic cavity starts covering the whole of the embryo, and the extra-embryonic mesoderm, which was coelom, which was here, now it starts reducing in size. If you see here, this is how it starts reducing. This is the fetus. Now the amniotic cavity is covering completely the embryo with the folding of the foldings on either side. The amniotic cavity, which was a very small cavity initially, if you see here, so it was a very small cavity. Now with the folding of the embryo, the yolk sac becomes very small, and the amniotic cavity starts covering the whole of the embryo. Okay, so now if you see here, the whole of the embryo is covered by the amniotic cavity, and the yolk sac has become very small. Okay, so here you can see the yolk sac, because yolk sac is not necessary in case of human being, because there is placenta which will provide the nutrition to the fetus. So yolk sac is not necessary, so it has become very small. Okay, so the amniotic cavity is completely covering the whole of the amniotic cavity expands and obliterates the extra-embryonic coelom. Where is the extra-embryonic coelom? This is the extra-embryonic coelom, which is also called as the chorionic cavity. Now, as the embryo starts increasing in size, the cavity has totally reduced and gone. Okay, and there is also the uterine cavity. This is the uterine cavity, and here you can see the deciduum parietalis. This is the deciduum capsularis, and here is the deciduum basalis. Deciduum basalis and the chorionic fundosome, as I said before, it will form the placenta. But these cavities, the uterine cavity will disappear because these two layers, that is the deciduum capsularis and parietalis, will join together. And as the fetus grow, even this chorionic cavity or the extra-embryonic coelom will disappear. And now if you see here, as the embryo has grown, all this cavity has disappeared. Okay, now the only cavity which remains is the amniotic cavity. Now the fetus starts flowing within the amniotic cavity. So if you see here, so here it is a well-grown embryo. Okay, now it is fetus, and it is filled with the amniotic cavity. It is flowing within the amniotic cavity, and this is the umbilical cord, and this is the placenta. And here are the villi, which we studied in closer look. Okay, so here is the maternal blood, and within this villi will be the fetal blood, where the exchange of gases will be taking place. So this is all about the folding of the embryo. If you have any questions regarding this, you can ask me now. So do you have any questions?
Doctor, I want to ask you a question, but not about the lecture now.
Okay.
About the midterm.
Yeah.
Can I?
Yeah, yeah. Sure.
Doctor, the midterm